Brian Bengma here with RM Timing Systems to set up a Samsung camera to be able to work with our program. I have already run Advanced IP Scanner, and I've identified the IP address as 192.168.1.100. So I will launch that in a web browser, simply entering that number, and I'll launch the WiseNet interface. So at first on the WiseNet interface, it's going to ask you to enter a new password. That password should be XXX*513RM. That is the password that we use when we're logging into the software. So you have to make sure that you set that new password. Hit apply, it'll apply the changes, and then it'll ask you to log in. To be able to log in, you use username, admin, and then the password of XXX*513. That's going to launch the WiseNet interface, and that's going to allow us to configure the rest of the camera to be able to work with the RM software. Once we launch the WiseNet interface, we can go to the settings icon. The settings icon will launch our viewer profile, our video profile. We're going to delete the one called mobile, and we're going to add a new video profile called RM. We're going to make that our default profile, and we're going to change the bit rate to be 6144. We're going to apply those changes. Now we're able to set our time zone. So pick the appropriate time zone that you are. And we are then going to turn on daylight savings time. And then here I'm going to synchronize it with our server. So if this has connected to the internet, it'll actually find an automatic time. Lastly, I'm going to change from a Dhcp to a manual IP address, and this camera I'm going to set up as 206. I'm going to apply that. Once we do this, it's going to kick us out of the WiseNet interface, and we'll have to re-log in with that new IP address, so 192.168.1.206. Same, when it asks us to log in, we're going to use admin, and we're going to use the new password of XXX*513. Now we're going to finish the setup of the camera, and we're going to go again under the settings icon, and we're going to come to the video and audio, and we're going to go to the camera setup. We're going to use the OSD tab, and this is going to allow us to put a name and the time on the actual camera. So we can set these, and this is where you can configure X and Y axis, how big you want the font to be. And when you apply the changes, you'll be able to see those automatically show up in your video right in the top corner. Again, you can configure that as you need to. You can change that information if you want to. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how to set up a manual focus within the WiseNet interface. There is an autofocus button, and depending on the lens that you're using, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't work, then you can use the icons on the right to be able to plus or minus the focus, either 110 or 100, to be able to dial in your focus. And now you are ready to use a Samsung XNB camera with any of the RM programs.